Hello, everyone. It's with a heavy heart that we start this one. We lost a really good one today, guys. Rest in peace for Charlie. Prayers for his family. Prayers for the people at Turning Point, the organization that he started, and prayers for our country. Things are escalating. Things are not going in a good direction at all. But we are going to be talking about some other things first, and then we will get to the last few days. Not yet, buddy. You have like an hour. Yeah. My show's live, buddy. Can you go play? You have 90 minutes. Yeah. That is a long time. Yep. Go play, okay, buddy? Thank you. And kids are wonderful. Like, I gave them an extra big hug today before the show started. They don't understand why. Someday they might. But I just think about Charlie's family, and it just breaks my heart. But we have some other stuff to go over, some things that happened in the last few days before, and I would like to cover some of those items. But guys, you can see based on the stories that have been pulled that X is really one of the last places that we have to talk about these things. The stories that have come out that are being unearthed, that are being brought back to the forefront. Austin Metcalf, for instance, a story that we have kind of forgotten about, that's dropped off the news because the mainstream media just lets these things go when it doesn't fit a narrative. All the other people that are under attack, guys, but don't take this as a call to action. It is not. I don't condone violence for violence sake. I don't think that we should be proactively violent, but I do think that we need to start looking at making sure that we can defend ourselves and defend the ones that we love, because crime is not going down. Things are not getting better. So be prepared and make sure that you and your friends and your family are kept safe, because the police aren't going to be able to they're not going to be able to be there to help you. They're going to show up afterwards and clean up the mess. So take it personally, take that responsibility to heart, and protect each other. Look after each other, call each other, check in on each other, do the things that are necessary, guys. But we're going to get the first story pulled up. This is not an easy day to broadcast, I will tell you that right now. But you know what? There are still things that need to be discussed. And I wanted to start it off on a light note, because today was just awful. Yesterday was awful. But there are still things happening in the world that should be talked about, that are positive, that are good. Elon continues to make progress towards making life interplanetary. We have testing going on for the 11th flight test for Starship. These things are still happening, guys. Just because the news is full of negativity doesn't mean that the world doesn't have good things happening. It does. You look at the chat right now. We've got Shell, we've got Karen, we've got Chatban. All you other folks out there that are here. We're here supporting each other. And that's what's important. Those relationships, our friends, our families. Those are the things we need to care about. Those are the things that we need to fight to protect. So I appreciate all of you being here. And those of you that are here already, please make sure you share out the live stream. Please make sure that we get I know I'm competing against some very large names. And right now it is wall-to-wall Charlie. And I get it. We'll cover what happened today as well. But I don't want to make it all that. Right? There's other things. And I think it's important that we continue to cover those things. So it's good to see that we still have positive things going on. Elon is still making progress. There are still amazing things happening down there in Starbase. But this was not even today. This was posted yesterday. So we're going to get into law and order, guys. This was posted yesterday by the president in response to what happened in North Carolina. We have an entire section today dedicated to Iryna. We have an entire section dedicated to Charlie. We also have just a general section of escalating violence, which is not good to see. But you see here, Trump has something to say about it.
Woman. For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. Really very, very innocent people.
The crazy thing about this, guys, and it gets pointed out in a couple of these other articles that I have to cover, is whenever the conversation about violence from the left or the right comes up, the left always points at how the right condones political violence, except all the political violence seems to be happening from the left these days. So the iron law of projection remains sound and solid. They will continue to accuse us of the things that they are doing. But also, all of these big cities where these problems are happening, almost all of them are run by Democrats. And as soon as the conversation shifts and the Democrats are talking about violence, they point out how it's crazy that they're in red states. And they totally skip over the fact that these blue, deep blue cities with these extreme violence problems are nestled in red states. It's a control of the narrative. It's a way that they phrase things. They are trying to make you think that this is a problem on the right. It is not. I assure you, if the violence was a problem from the right, it would be over by now. We show extreme restraint, ladies and gentlemen, and we should continue to do so, although it is getting more and more difficult, especially after days like yesterday and today. But we need to use the rule of law. We need to enforce the laws that are on the books. We need to start taking extreme action, but do so through the legal process. Karen, St. Louis is a prime example, yes, of a deep, deep blue city that is in a red state with significant crime problems. And whenever the progressives will talk about it, they'll blame the red state. So just keep that in mind.
Place they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman. A beautiful young girl that never had problems in life.
Until she came to a blue city. Everyone. She had no problems in life. Yeah, she fled Ukraine to get away from the war. But she got here. She was happy here. She loved America. And the biggest problem she ran into was getting on public transit in a blue city. Caroline Levitt.
Argue that red states have higher crime rates while overlooking problems of high crime in blue cities. I'm wondering if the president would consider working with red states.
You see, that reporter just said exactly what I said. Talking about crime in red states instead of the blue city.
Governors to fix high crime in blue cities like in Memphis, Tennessee.
So first of all, I want to get to the premise of your question, Reagan, which is being pushed by Democrats, that there is crime in red states. Of course, there is crime in all states, but the crime in these cities is all in cities that are run by Democrats. If you look at the list of the top 20 high crime cities in the United States, every single one, with the exception of one in Louisiana, is run by a Democrat. And
okay, so there's the truth, everyone. There's the truth. 19 of the 20 top violent cities in the United States, Democrat run.
These Democrats have supported the same policies that I spoke about at the beginning of this briefing, like cashless bail. If you look at a red state, Mississippi, but a Democrat-run city in that state, Jackson, in 2019, Jackson, Mississippi eliminated cash bail for virtually all misdemeanor cases. And while Jackson is not formally a sanctuary city, the state of Mississippi formally banned sanctuary cities, and this city has acted as a de facto sanctuary city for criminals and illegal aliens since 2017.
Guys, it just continues on and on. They continue to allow these policies that they set to ruin perfectly good states. These cities are full of crime, and it takes enforcement of law and locking people away to deter crime to get the violent people off the street, because the greater majority of all crimes are committed a very, very small percentage of the population. And it turns out that's the population that should be in prison. If they're not on the street, they can't harm law-abiding citizens. So you can see here in the nation's capital, 133 additional arrests. This is an update on the D.C. deployment of the National Guard and the military. Over the past month, at the directions of POTUS, law enforcement partners have worked nonstop to make D.C. safe again, guys. It's crazy that the nation's capital used to be one of the most violent cities in the country, and now it is one of the safer ones. And all it took was heavy military/law enforcement presence and enforcement of the laws that are on the books. Turns out if you commit a crime, you should go to jail or suffer the sentence for that crime, period. One small segment of a minority demographic. Yes, Karen, that is true. 50% of the violent crimes are committed by 5% of the population. They also have an update here on school boards, because during prior administrations, Obama and Biden both, parents that attended school board meetings and voiced opposition to some of the policies to these school board meetings were being treated as domestic terrorists. They were being followed, pursued, surveilled. So no more. Justice Department is restoring law and order and returning power to the people that we serve, directing the FBI and Civil Rights Division and all U.S. attorneys to uphold constitutional rights and parental authority in America's education system. The DOJ stands with America's parents. Now, this is a wonderful thing to see. As a parent, it should be apparent why I would think this is a good idea. I also have my kids in private school, an independent private school. I do so because I don't trust the county and the school system from where I live. They are notorious. They make lots of bad decisions. They hide things. They do things that I do not support. And so I make a lot of personal sacrifices to make sure that my kids can stay in a private school. They deserve it. And I should do everything I can to make sure they have it. So check out my profile, guys. Follow ways to support me. You can support me for free going to my YouTube channel, Rumble channel, here on X. You can subscribe or follow. You also have ways to leave me a tip here on X. I have tipping turned on. If you wish, I also have buying me a coffee linked there in my website as well. If you're having any issues that are covered by my company, you can reach out to me for a consult. But most of all, just share out the live stream, guys. Let's get the word out. Let's get more people watching this thing. Let's share it. Let's try to have a little bit of more of a general conversation instead of just the one. Interesting one. 0 Hour. Great account, by the way. If you're not following 0 Hour by now, you absolutely should. Definitely follow 0 Hour. Do that now. But California inmate has now beaten to death 2 child touchers with a cane while in prison. I find this amusing that somehow prison inmates have more of a sense of morality when it comes to protecting children than Democrat politicians and progressive judges. I don't know. That just seems odd to me that there's more of a sense of honor with prisoners than there is with politicians. Seems like that's shouldn't be the way it is, but apparently it is. We have the last story in law enforcement, guys. We have somebody who literally attempted to kidnap a barista through the drive-through window of a Starbucks, I believe. Seattle coffee place, probably a Starbucks. Was released from jail on cashless bail, guys. These policies of cashless bail are destroying the fabric of our country. These people that are repeat career offenders have no business being on the streets. They have no business still being around anybody in the public. They should be locked up. The key should be thrown away, and then they can get buried under the prison. For as far as I'm concerned, they should be there until the end of their natural lives. We wonder why bad things are happening to the women in our nation. Well, when people try and attack them and kidnap them and drag them off like a caveman, they're released on cashless bail. I don't know why anyone lives in some of these progressive cities. This is absolutely crazy. I'll show a little bit of this video clip, guys, but it is crazy to watch. This guy literally just tries to snatch her from a drive-through window. And then released. Cashless bail, guys. Good job, progressives. Good job. These are the policies that you are allowing to occur that are putting our women, our children, and everybody else at risk. These policies need to end. I'm not usually a huge fan of federal authority, but can we please make the policies of cashless bail illegal federally? Can we just ban them? Take it to the Supreme Court if you want, guys, but these policies are putting citizens at risk. It is putting everybody at risk. And then we come to even over in Canada and other places. Crispy says cashless bail must go. I completely agree. Defiant L's post here that there was a Muslim in Canada slashed the throat of a man riding a bus. So it's not just women. It's not just in America. This is happening everywhere. It's not even just blacks or Muslims or whatever. It's everywhere. I'm not going to play this whole video because it is thankfully blurred. But you can see this person jumps in with a knife, pushes it against his throat, and pulls it a couple of times. Meanwhile, pledging allegiance to the Islamic State. Yes, you must convert or pay tribute, so this guy says. Yeah, it's not good. Crispy says it's like a virus is spreading throughout the world. It really is kind of that way. It does feel that way, Crispy. It feels surreal. You know, you watch movies like 28 Days Later or any of these zombie movies, and if you just remove zombies and just replace it with extreme violence, it does kind of feel like a movie, doesn't it? Well, here we have another excuse. Defiant L's again. A Kenyan sex offender with an expired visa that should have been deported was hired as a director at the Minnesota Department of Education. Guys, these states in the north, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, what is happening up there? The blue virus is spreading in these places in a way that just makes zero sense. They literally took a migrant sex offender, and instead of deporting him, they hired him as a director at the Department of Education, where he would have access to kids. I don't get it, guys. We definitely need something to change. It makes no sense that we let these progressive, communist, socialist, crazy people continue to control these cities and these municipalities. Karen, you mentioned St. Louis. Rothmus posted this one. It's a little bit flabbergasting, but we shouldn't have to live like this. St. Louis woman was robbed, beaten, and stabbed by a 15-year-old Somali refugee. Refugee, I say that word because that's what it says on the page. It's not real. Who isn't being charged because his IQ is 49. This was from February of 2020. And as you can see right here, 49 is fucking low. So we have a 15-year-old retarded Somali kid that beat up, robbed, and stabbed a woman who's not going to get charged just because he's retarded. Low IQ is a characteristic common among inbreeding. And you see a lot of Middle Eastern and North African cultures where that is common. So we're going to import these assholes, and then we're going to let them do things, and then we're not going to hold them accountable because they're too dumb. I don't think they're too dumb. I think I would normally say we're too dumb to allow this to happen, but I don't think this is the people that are allowing it aren't doing this because they're dumb. They're doing this because they're trying to destroy the system that we have. This is where we need to resist. We need to maintain the culture. We need to make sure that the American dream stays alive. But to do so, I think we are going to have to try and purge many of the 55 million visa holders, most or all of the criminal aliens for sure. And we may need to denaturalize some citizens who do not have loyalty to this nation. Doesn't seem too extreme, especially after this week, guys. That's like milquetoast response to what's happened this week. But we can't let this keep happening. Like Shell says, something has to give, but I hope it gives in the right way. And the thing that I fear the most right now is with what has just happened in the last few days. When it gives, it's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be pleasant, and it's not going to be the right way. But it's going to be a way. Because people are going to be seeking release. They're going to be seeking revenge instead of justice. We need to get justice for these people. We need to reform our systems. We need something to change, and we need it to change soon, because this escalation that just happened this week is not good. Most of us on the right have been to war or have seen war. We have seen violence. We don't like it. We don't want it. And the people that seem to be asking for it the most are LARPing, and they don't understand what it is that they are actually asking for. If the dogs of war are truly released, guys, they don't understand what they're asking for. We need to try and prevent this. Like, we're all upset, guys, but we need to do it the right way. We need to do it the lawful way. We need to just reform the systems, take the system back, restore what was, and do it in the names of the people that we have lost. Don't tarnish their memories. Shell says, I see a lot of mayhem coming. I do too, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope we can turn this thing. I hope we don't see it. Gardner says, peace be upon each and every one of you. Yes, Gardner, peace be upon you and your family as well. Lots of prayers going out to everybody. Everybody in the village, everybody in the chat, everybody in this nation. The Kirk family. The Zarutska family, like just everybody that's been harmed this week, guys. It's crazy. Karen says, keep monitoring the situation. Yes, guys, continue to monitor the situation. Monitor it here on X, because here on X is where you're going to see it the most and the most truthful. You can follow shows like this. I appreciate if you do. But follow other accounts. Nick Sortor, Roz Alerts, the people that bring us the news. Follow Doge. Follow folks like our friend Gardner here. Keep yourself up to date. Monitor the situation. 93 views. Repost the live. Yes, please repost it out. Help more people get here. I will still be ending with some memes and some videos, guys. I do still think we need some lightheartedness here, guys. We need to try and remember that there is things to be smiling about and happy about. There are still things in life to enjoy. And those are the things that we need to fight to preserve, but not fight with violence. We need to preserve those things. Peace video as well, Gardner. Absolutely. Absolutely, Gardner. We have another story, guys. This video is wild. So this is getting into politics, is this section. So we're not just talking about the violence, guys. Politics. E.G. Carroll talking about her time in trial.
We looked.
But then you're like, well, I got to be hotter to win this case.
Yeah, I got to be fuckable is the word. So what we did.
Literally, the lady that accused the president of assault herself is saying that she had in court to present herself, and I'm quoting, as fuckable. Does that sound like somebody who is traumatized by SA?
Is we looked.
Nope.
I had a talk show, a TV talk show in 1996. I went through that, some of the shows, took screenshots of my hair cut in a bob, and we did then I found the hairdresser and the makeup person who made me look like that in 1996. She came every day to trial, did my hair and makeup exactly like it was in 1996. I wore the exact same clothes I wore in 1996, the exact clothes.
Yeah, they're back. It's back. And
They're literally talking about how she was dolling herself up for the trial to make herself appear more appealing to try and get an SA liable, to try and get the president held liable for an assault that, in my opinion, never happened.
And I didn't look like I looked in 96, but I looked like somebody who could have looked like somebody in 96. And it was enough. It was enough. So it was a trick.
It was a trick, guys.
District, that doesn't make you annoyed? That doesn't, your feminist juices don't start flowing over that? Like, that's kind
Yep, E.G. Carroll, everyone. The person that they always hold up as the reason that we should all hate Trump, that he's a sexist, that he's a terrible person. That's their person, guys. That's the person that they're presenting. I agree. She is quite disgusting, in my opinion. It is my opinion that E.G. Carroll is very disgusting. I'll keep that to my opinion. I'm not going to make a statement of fact. It's just my opinion that she's a disgusting human being. Guys, Missouri. So, we were just talking about St. Louis, Karen. Here we go. Missouri House has overwhelmingly passed new congressional map, 90-65, cutting Democrats down to one seat. What, buddy? Don't worry about that, buddy. It's there because this week is crazy. My son is asking why there is a firearm against the wall behind me out of sight. Because this week has been crazy, guys. But it's also behind me, so it's out of reach. And then I'll put it away when we're done. Anyways, getting back to the story. Republicans are set to gain another seat in the U.S. House. Every Republican state should be following suit. So I'm assuming, Karen, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just assuming that that blue dot is St. Louis. You let me know if I'm correct, but that is my assumption based on the evidence presented. An entirely red state, just like Nebraska, guys. Nebraska looks just like this, except it has two blue dots. It's Lincoln and Omaha. The rest of the entire state is red. And they'll say that Missouri is a red state. By the way, if you live in Nebraska, they call this Misery, not Missouri. Just a little inside baseball. But yeah, guys, these states look like this all over the Midwest. Entirely red state, one highly populated blue city makes the state almost turn blue. After this week, guys, we just need to start enforcing the Communist Control Act, and we just need to start locking up communists. I don't know what else we can do with them. They're obviously very detrimental to the country. Lock them up. It's still a law in the books, guys. Lock them up. American median household income rose less than 3% during the Biden administration, according to census data. What also ended up happening is it turns out almost all of the job gains from the last year to year and a half of his administration have been revised down and out of existence. So apparently we've been in a employment recession for a year and a half. They should have lowered interest rates a year ago. But hey, here we are. The administration lied. People died. People lost jobs. And they got to continue to pretend that the economy was great right up until Trump took it. And then they blamed Trump for a terrible economy, even though we are seeing evidence that the economy was already kind of shit and that we're trying to turn it around. So again, don't trust the media. Don't trust progressive media. That's for dang sure. Indiana University is also hosting a career fair to help LGBTQ plus students find jobs. Now, as Libs of TikTok points out, guys, that's a little interesting because they're discriminating against straight people, which is not allowed per the Civil Rights Act. You cannot discriminate somebody on the basis of their sexual orientation. We should absolutely pull all federal funding, if there is any, to this university. We should punish them socially. We should ridicule them constantly. And we should make sure that programs like this and policies like this are removed and are never tolerated again. Ever. Never, never, never. Cracker Barrel, guys. We did it. Cracker Barrel officially canceled their renovations. They will revert any stores changed back to the original design. Now, if I had to guess, Fat Electrician did a video on this. I would not be terribly surprised if the stores that were renovated are just closed. Because as he suspected, and I think makes a lot of sense, they probably renovated the stores that were performing the worst. And if they spent all the money on the renovation and it didn't work, just close those stores. It's much easier than putting them back. Just close them. As long as they were the lower performing stores, it makes sense. But yeah, guys, we did it. You did it. I did it. Nick Sortor did it. Robbie Starbuck did it. The internet, X, did it. Everyone. If you see policies like this and the other things that are degrading our nation and our values, we should absolutely speak up about it. Don't be quiet. Make your voice heard. And we can reverse the course of some of these changes. So, good job, everyone. Good job. Good job. But Cracker Barrel is reversing many of its policies. In Nepal, guys, Nepal decided to ban social media to restrict and control the spread of misinformation. And what happened? They banned social media last week to regulate misinformation, and this is the government today as the ministers flee in helicopters. This was yesterday morning. They lit the Capitol building on fire, chased one of the heads of government naked into a river, and much of the government fled the country. So if you stop the circuses and you take away their cake, apparently people don't like being kept down. So the communist government might have just been overthrown because they tried to take away social media. Absolutely crazy, guys. But the Nepalese people, everyone, uprising because of a ban of social media. In our last story, before we start getting into the violence, guys, even though we've already talked about some of it, we've barely scratched the surface. Data Republican here has another update about Karen Bass, because we thought she was a Castro operative, right? We covered that story here on the update. But it turns out she might have actually just been a foreign terrorist, because you can see here in the part that's squared, plaintiff Karen Bass, according to a 1973 intelligence document provided to the Times, traveled to Cuba with the 6th continent of the Venceremos Brigade. Venceremos? I don't know. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that. The brigade trains revolutionary-prone Americans in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare while claiming to harvest sugarcane. Bass, characterized as a brigade leader, returned from Cuba to the U.S., bringing back propaganda literature, the document noted, without citing the source of the information. So, there are reports. This is from the Los Angeles Times, guys. You can see right up here. The LA Times reported back in 1983. Oh, man. August, September, October. I was like 3 months old when this story came out. God, I feel old. But yeah, Karen Bass might actually just be a trained terrorist. So that's fun. Yeah, so now we're getting into the violence section, guys. You have a guy apparently wearing a mask, so that's fun. Serial killer disguising himself as a white guy. Interesting. NYPD issued a dire warning as a manhunt was launched for an armed career criminal. Guys, if I see another headline about repeat offender, career criminal, or any of these other type of this guy should just be locked away, like, it's so infuriating. But this person killed an elderly couple and set them on fire. Meanwhile, as the comment down there points out, Hochul saying, "Oh, don't worry, we got crime under control, guys." So this fine gentleman, you have this gentleman here, white guy, getting brutally assaulted. Play a little bit of the clip, just getting beat up. Guy leaves. And we have the man covered in blood. Again, public transit, guys. Stop posting these vids. Like, no, we're going to keep talking about this, guys, because remember, they don't want you to see these videos because they're afraid it might make you a racist. Speaking of making you a racist, let's check out the AP's style guidelines that were posted here by Libs of TikTok. Thank you, Libs. That say that you lowercase white and capitalize black because they're an anti-white, racist trash outlet. Why? We will lowercase white. AP style will continue to lowercase the term white in racial, ethnic, and culture sense. Please put that back on. You're pulling on it. Leave it, please. This decision follows our move last month to capitalize black in such uses. We consulted a wide group of people internally and externally around the globe and considered a variety of commentary in making these decisions. So they have chosen, when it is an ethnic or cultural reference, that the Associated Press will capitalize the word black and lowercase the word white. And they make this decision on purpose. So if you don't feel yet like you're being targeted, here is the press's style guidelines that say you're wrong. Not really a big fan of that. I mentioned this earlier, guys. This is one that people had almost forgotten about. I had almost forgotten about it with the amount of crazy things that have happened, but they still haven't released this video. Why do you think that is? 4 months ago, Austin Metcalf was stabbed. Sounded like my daughter slipped down the stairs, but she says she's okay. Killed by Carmelo Anthony, at a track meet. Stabbed him in the heart. You can see there, he's obviously a future engineer. Obama's son, if he had one. They have not shown us the video yet. Why do you think that is? That's not going to happen. As someone who has taken the lead in covering this case from the beginning, let me explain why. The footage, open to the public for anyone who submitted a request. I've seen it along with many others. Rode the bus to the high school track meet, had a verbal altercation, reached into his bag, and stabbed him in the heart. There were multiple witnesses, a multi-page police report, and many statements that confirm this. He will be found guilty. The video is no longer available. Is that one individual broke the rules by attempting to record it with her own device. Because of this, the AG placed it under protection until trial. Does not contain material evidence relative to the case. Okay, well. Still, haven't seen it, guys. I don't think we ever will. Peachy Keenan. You heard about this one from April of this year. Chicago train station. Willie Holmes versus Emily Carlson, 25. He spit on her before stabbing her to death in the back. I'd be curious to see how many times Mr. Holmes had been arrested prior to this. I'm noticing there is a very large similarity in some of these cases. What do you guys think? Hodge twins, a pair of black guys, conservatives, which is why they are constantly harassed. It's not racist to protect your own people from getting killed by, I'll just say, black people. It's not what they said, but they're black, so they could say whatever they want, I guess. But wake up, white folks. Yeah, they're basically warning us that, like, hey, guys, there's a problem. You should probably start paying attention. Jeremy from The Quartering also posts here. It's interesting how bad black on white crime statistics really are. Why would he say that? Well, let's look. Let's look at the races of these people that were arrested, that committed crimes. Non-Hispanic white, non-Hispanic white, non-Hispanic white, non-Hispanic white. Do these people look white to you? So if they're being reported as being white, what do you think that's doing to crime statistics? It's probably showing up as white on white crime or white on black crime. So not only has Sam posted the meme that shows the media zoomed in on white on black crime, how much of the white on black crime do you think is this? I would be interested to find out. Alpha Fox, bless him. Post here. I included this one kind of in the middle because it fits better. But the reason cops don't mess with me isn't because I'm white, my guys. It's because I don't commit crimes. Maybe some people should try it. Stop committing crimes. Maybe, just maybe, you'll stop having altercations and interactions with the police. Seems reasonable. Derek Chauvin, as Lauren Chen points out, recently returned to social media because the investigation into her and Tenet Media has been dropped with no charges. Derek Chauvin is still in prison for murder despite using an approved restraint method, despite Floyd having a lethal amount of fentanyl in his system, despite jurors saying they feared retribution for the wrong verdict, because the justice system is political. Period. Why is Derek Chauvin still in prison? It's a good question, guys. Maybe he should get some of that cashless bail. But it's also wouldn't help with reformative justice. Deepak Kendall arrested in May for allegedly stabbing a man to death in an unprovoked attack in Austin, Texas. He had over 10 prior arrests. Nearly all the charges against him for prior arrests were dropped. Why do you think this keeps happening? Because if you in the audience or me was to commit any of those crimes, would we be out? The answer is probably not. And our last story, or little post here for the violence section, is from the White House. Democrats are for crime. Period. Now, guys, before we transition to the two major stories from the last 2 days, I would just ask that you go visit my profile. Check it out. I have a link to my website right there, patriotdad.org, that has links to my Linktree, my YouTube, my Rumble, my X account, my Buy Me a Coffee. It's got links to my Men's Empowerment Network company. It's got links to my Discord channels. It's got links to all kinds of things there. Patriotdad.org, created for me by Siraj, who is over there in the Time Chain Consulting. So definitely check them out. See if you need some web development. They can help you out. But you can also see here my space schedule right now. Monday, Wednesday, Friday evening update, 7:30. Monday, Two Vets and a Garter will be starting soon. Tuesday, Topic Exchange, 8:45 p.m. We had a Doge episode last night. Apologies again, Gardner, for co-hosting. I have been up and having terrible hours and working like crazy. I fell asleep as a co-host. I know. I'm sorry. I failed. I'm sorry. Won't let it happen again. And Saturday, weekly update, 7 p.m. Eastern. We also have Shell and Christina's Bible Space Sunday at 4 p.m. So check those out, guys. Just do me a favor, check those out. And we will carry on with the next set of stories, guys. The next set of stories gets us to yesterday. I am not going to play this video, guys. I'm sure everyone in the audience has seen it. Those of you who haven't, you should probably just spare yourself. But I will tell you, this is immediately following the attack. And as it continues, there's enough screenshots floating around where I don't need to show you. But she is terrified, she is awake, she is scared, and she is wondering what happened and why. And none of the people sitting around her in this image helped her. I was there, that's what mattered. Oh, thank you, Gardner. Like I said, I am sorry. And they did start, as I said, Shell, the guy who killed Iryna, someone started a GoFundMe for him. They did, but they shut it down. 0 Hour reached out and got that shut down. So again, if you're not following 0 Hour, definitely do that. But guys, suspect kills 23-year-old Iryna Zarutska, who is here to get away from the war in Ukraine, is now dead because she got on transit in North Carolina. She did nothing. And the crazy thing is, you saw all the comment sections, all the progressive lefty accounts were saying, oh, she's probably said something to him, or oh, she was probably looking at something racist on her phone, or oh, this, or oh, it's like they get on us. They accuse the right of victim blaming all the time. And then what do? The minute that there is a white victim and a black criminal, they immediately victim blamed Iryna to try and make an excuse for this highly unstable career criminal. It's insane. And you saw George Alexopoulos made another one of his for-sale cartoons. Normally they're political. Normally they are amusing. But this one hits different. And as Tim Pool says, damn, bro, you got me tearing up. This girl did not deserve this. And she died alone. Valentina Gomez, if you're not following her account, you should. It's spicy. This is a spicy lady. White Lives Matter, guys. Death penalty for all George Floyds of America. Iryna Zarutska stabbed to death in the train. Laken Riley raped and killed. Debrina Kawam burned alive in a New York City subway. Yeah, guys. Lots and lots of violence. I like the shirt. Don't be weak and gay. But guys, the violence level is just ratcheting up. And I do not think it's good. It's very, very bad. But we need to be aware. She's definitely spicy. You like it? I bet you do, Shell. Eric Dowry points, NGO MacArthur Foundation gave $3.3 million to Mecklenburg County, which includes Charlotte, to reduce the jail population in favor of racial equity. Iryna Zarutska's murderer was released over a dozen times. I think it was 14 was the actual number. Why was this person on the street? The answer is progressive, reformative justice, silly policies that were enabled because of NGO money. So, Gardner, I don't know if you guys or anyone in Doge has looked up the MacArthur Foundation or where they get their money or where their money goes. That might be a good candidate to look into with Twin Forces tools and Jenica's tools. That or Republican and Twin Forces could probably do quite a number on that one, because Charlotte was apparently taking NGO money to let certain minority or racial groups out of jail. Maybe this one should have still been there. White House saw the video. She was trying to escape the war in Ukraine and was innocently riding the metro, where she was brutally ambushed. Perpetrator was a well-known career criminal, total of 14 times released on cashless bail, guys. What the hell was he doing riding a train? These judges need to be locked up. These magistrates, which turns out the magistrate that released him doesn't have a law degree. Interesting how these restorative justice types require no actual education. J.D. Vance says the reality is that a gross majority of violent crime is committed by a very small group of people, and we should be throwing them in prison. And just this morning, guys, this morning, before Charlie Kirk was taken from us, this morning, Black Lives Matter speaks out about what happened to Iryna.
Have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence. And I'm going to tell you something. It's like the right to pee. You got to have the right place. You got to have the right time. You got to have the appropriate situation. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is it.
This morning, guys. This morning, Black Lives Matter made this statement in response to Iryna's murder, that they have a right to violence.
Nope.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Black Lives Matter should absolutely be designated as a terrorist organization. They should be stripped of all funding. Anyone related to them should be investigated and prosecuted if necessary, locked up. This kind of violent rhetoric and nonsense cannot be allowed to continue. Like, I am a huge fan of the First Amendment, guys. You can say whatever you want. That does not, however, mean that you are free from the consequences of saying it. And the consequences are your call to violence has resulted in more death. It's unacceptable. North Carolina members of Congress are pushing to remove from office Judge Teresa Stokes, who is behind the release of the murderer of Iryna Zarutska. This person has no business being in a position of power ever again. Hold her accountable. Yes, get this judge off the bench. Lock her up. It is my opinion, and you in the comments can let me know if you agree or disagree. We can have this conversation. But if a judge is letting a criminal out on no cash bail or cashless bail, whatever you want to call it, if a judge is releasing a monster back onto the street and that monster kills somebody, it is my opinion that you should absolutely charge that judge with negligent homicide at least. Because it is through your negligence, at a minimum, potentially intentional action, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. It is at a minimum negligence that is leading to a homicide. So you are participating in a felony. You should absolutely be charged with negligent homicide at a minimum. If you are a judge that is letting one of these beasts out onto the street again and again and again, and they are causing this much harm. We have a short video here, guys, but we've been propagandized to. Let's see. What do we got?
Now, why would that be? Why would one story demand 100 articles and another story 0 articles? And it's because the media is more interested in the all capitals story, the narrative, than the facts or the truth. Take a look at the difference here. I want to show you the actual truth when it comes to crime. The story is about race.
And here we're zooming in on the number, just like we saw in Sam's meme.
Race. Take a look at the black on white crimes, 385,000 in 2023. The white on black crimes, just under 118,000. You see the comparative numerical difference. But now, here's what the media actually does. They did what our camera operator just began to do a moment ago. I'm going to step out of the way. I'm going to show you literally what the media does with a camera. They zoom in on this number. This number, devoid of context. Now, why would that be?
Yes, that number, devoid of context. So just like the meme shows, they zoom in on the one number and they ignore all the other numbers. They ignore the context. What's up, California Doge? Welcome to the chat. Everyone, please make sure to post out the live. Let's get some more folks in here. We are about to talk about Charlie, so I know everyone else is talking about Charlie right now, guys, but let's share it out to friends and family. And then we can have a little bit of remembrance and a little bit of memery at the end to try and end on a good note. Because it's been an awful 2 days, guys. His last post, referring to Charlie Kirk, calling to make things right. Never let the left win. Please read my pinned post, which I also have pulled up, Gardner. Don't you worry. There is a way to continue his message. So in one of his last posts, literally one of his last posts, Charlie Kirk says, if we want things to change, it's 100% necessary to politicize the senseless murder of Iryna Zarutska because it was politics that allowed a savage monster with 14 priors to be free on the streets to kill her.
On August 22nd, Iryna Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal.
Her life story, I think, will be told both in the United States and Ukraine for years to come. What do you think the importance of this story is most fundamentally?
This was one of the coldest, most senseless murders I've ever seen. She had no interaction with this guy whatsoever. She was sitting minding her own business, and he just takes out a knife and just decides to stab her. I do say this with some form of just heaviness. I don't like politicizing situations like this, but it just necessitates it because there are so many dynamics at play here. Based on the information evidence we have, the attacker did say, "I got that white girl." The attacker racialized it in his own telling of this situation. And we all know this. Any honest observer of your program knows this, including Van Jones even knows this deep down, which is that, of course, if a random white person on a subway took out a knife and stabbed a black girl senselessly to death, there would be massive media coverage. There would be policy changes. There would be people having to apologize for this. We saw this in George Floyd, and yet, for whatever reason, this situation has not garnered even a fraction of that kind of outrage.
Still calmly discussing the matter because that's what Charlie does. I'm not ready to say did yet. This man just wanted to talk to people, to convince people, to spread the word. That's what Charlie was and is about. So how do we continue his message? Well, we're going to move into our section on Charlie, guys. As Donald Trump posted on Truth, the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. So Gardner says this is sad and heartbreaking, and it absolutely is. But I want to take a moment and either repost or make your own post. Do not buy into the posts calling for violence. Now is not the time. This is reminder goes out to everyone. The left has tried to divide us for the last 16 years. Don't fall for their trap of using this as an excuse to ignite us. Rally behind your local police, local law enforcement. Report any crime you see. Document everything. If you want this to be a rally cry, go out tomorrow and register people to vote. So many people, the Democrats will never come within the grasp of winning any office ever again. Charlie dedicated his life to conservative causes getting conservatives elected. If you want to honor him, hold your peace and go continue the charge that he was pushing for, or the change that he was pushing for. Hold your loved ones, cherish this evening, and sort through the answers tomorrow. As I said when I started this episode, before I came up here to shoot this show and go live, I sat and I hugged my kids for 5 minutes at least. And then we called my parents and had a video chat and just talked to them. Because if this is a reminder of anything, guys, it's that life is precious. Your loved ones are precious. And we cannot take for granted the time that we have with them and with each other. So make sure that you give your loved ones another text message, another phone call, another hug. Do whatever you have to do tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but be with them in one way or another. Let your friends know that they can reach out to you if they need anything. Let your friends know that you're there to listen, to support them. Let your family know that you love them. Shell says, still in shock. Hugs to all of you and prayers. Thank you. To you as well. I am still in shock. And please do, and as Gardner says, also choke back what you say to the idiots tonight. Yes, guys, on social media, people are just being awful. I have just started copy pasting a generic message to people on the left, telling them to please just sit this one out because they are not helping. Try to not say anything you'll regret. Just remember, guys, the internet is forever. And try your best not to stoop to their level. So we continue on. Van Jones had the nerve to call Charlie Kirk a racemonger despite a decade plus of the mainstream media racemongering. Dude appears to say he got that white girl, and how dare you, from racemongering CNN. Laughable.
We don't know why that man did what he did.
We do.
And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering.
Yep, you can hear him say it. I got that white girl. Gardner says, my sister-in-law is celebrating. I can repeat what her mom told. I'm assuming that says I can't repeat it. What, buddy? Okay. Hey, buddy. I'm still live. Can you show me after? Can you give me a thumbs up? High five? High five? Okay. You can show me in a few minutes, okay? I'm almost done. Hey, I love you guys, okay? All right. Not yet, buddy. You have another 30 minutes. Okay? Love you. Gardner says they will never speak again. Can't repeat. Seriously sad, but you, like you said, can't change it. Ignore the B. Okay, yes, you can't change it. Yeah. So, Van Jones, guys, just trying to be like, oh, stop making this a racial thing. I mean, the suspect did that. We also have a little clip here from MSNBC, MSDNC, whatever you want to call them. Pure trash.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about.
Let me play that for you again.
We don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so.
As Brandon Herrera says, we do not dislike the mainstream media. I'm not going to say journalists because there are still some good journalists out there, guys. But we do not dislike the mainstream media enough they're basically saying that, oh, yeah, this isn't like, it wasn't political, right? It was probably one of his own supporters. Nope. But this is what we should keep in mind, guys. This is what they hate. This is what they are trying to destroy. Not just Charlie's family, but the family unit in general. They've been destroying it for decades. They've been undermining our culture, demonizing this, making you think that this is oppression. Second and third wave feminism told women that this is oppression. You shouldn't want this. You should want a career and you should want to be independent. They hate people that are happy. They hate smiles. They hate children. This family is forever changed. We should pray for them. Because these kids will not grow up with a father anymore. This is probably one of the things I fear the most as a father of 2 young children. What if something happens to me? But there are things that need doing. And I will make sure those things get done. And I will pray that my family will not be torn like this. This quote from Voltaire: "Those who can make you believe absurdities can also make you commit atrocities." It's very true. Fight with memes. But this is what they want to take away from all of us. And they have forever damaged this beautiful family. Even Fox. We all know that Fox is not much better than the rest of the mainstream media, but in their announcement, it says, TPUSA founder Charlie Kirk has died at age 31 after being shot. He leaves behind his wife. So they highlighted has died. But as Maurice points out, he didn't just die. He was assassinated. They assassinated him for political reasons. And even Fox can't be brought as part of the mainstream media. They just can't be bothered to tell you the truth. 0 hour, and my last post for Charlie Kirk's section, is that multiple people have been involved in the murder. Some on the ground and possibly a sniper. So there is suspicion. And if you watched the video, which I will not play on the channel, you can find it. It is a horrible video to watch. It definitely looks not like a handgun was used. So I would not be surprised if there is a sniper or a long gun from a distance involved. One man confessed at the scene and was not the shooter, which is also quite odd. There was an old man that apparently no one has a little clip of it, but there's an old man that got detained right away. Apparently he admitted to doing it, but he was not the person that did it. So he's going to update us later. There are suspicions that this might have been a person on a roof in a distance. But in general, the worst part is this post. This post was public yesterday. They really need to look into this guy. They absolutely do. And apparently, this is that person. So if you look, Omar, Nahra Galvs, whatever. So I'll just leave you with that. But I'll be keeping an eye out. We will obviously have updates for this on Friday. Not yet, buddy. Buddy, it's been 10 minutes. You still have 20 minutes. I know, it feels so long. Be patient, my buddy. Be patient. Can you do that? High five. Okay. High five. Down low. Okay. Too slow. Ah. Okay. Nope. Stop. Hey, buddy. Nope. Afterwards, okay? I'll be right with you. Yes, a sniper on the roof. That is what it looks like to me as well. But guys, we will have more updates to come. We do have a meme section tonight, guys. I know it doesn't feel like it's right, but it was my opinion that we still need to at least have a little bit of humor and maybe a video. But this one from KG, hi, I'd like a wake-up call. Oh, Cash Patel confirmed it. Okay, I'll have to find that and I'll pull it for Friday. Unless you just want to send it to me in my DMs, I'll bookmark it for Friday, Gardner. Thank you for that update. Hi, I'd like a wake-up call. It says, oh, okay. So when you're at a hotel, I don't know if any of you, like Gardner and I, know about this. I don't know how many of you are old enough to actually have done this, but you call the front desk and you tell them to give you a wake-up call, and then they call you in the morning to wake you up. This is a wake-up call play on words, but it says all gun violence is coming from the left. That is a wake-up call, guys. Pay attention. This is women get L's. Always so good, guys. Always so good. When you finally meet a man who has goals, isn't full of himself, asks you out at 12 p.m. and not 12 a.m., and starts to talk about his feelings, I like you as a friend. Yeah, we've been there. Financial dating is where it's at. Every day, y'all come up with a different term for prostitution. Oof. This is in follow-up to the baseball Karen. Sorry, Karen. But somebody made a Garbage Pail Kids card for Ball Hog Brenda. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good one, guys. This one's a good one. What do you guys think? Almost looks like Alex Jones is the umpire. What do you like? Kind of looks like an Alex Jones character. I don't know. It's hard to tell. And the last thing, the video that I want to play going out, guys. Get married from Charlie Kirk. Get married, have kids, stop partying into oblivion. Leave a legacy, be courageous. Happy Sunday. God bless all the parents out there. This is from July 27th. Isn't that the best? Guys, that is my favorite thing, is when you get home or when you show up to pick them up from school. When your kids do this, when they run at you and they're excited to see you and they embrace you and they tell you that they love you, guys, this is what it's all about. This is what we should remember about Charlie. This is what they took. We need to remember Charlie. We need to do the right thing, though. As Gardner said, we need to not to do this the wrong way. Peace be upon each and every one of you. And choke back what you want to say to the idiots on the internet tonight. Keep your powder dry. Protect your family. And the last thing, JP with a winning meme. Because this is how this week feels already, and it's only Wednesday. But make sure to look after each other, guys, because what a fucking year this week has already been. Guys, do me a favor. Even though it's over, post out the live. Even though it's over, go to my profile, go to my website, patriotdad.org, look up ways to support me. We also need to find ways to support Charlie. We need to find ways to continue on his message. Like Gardner pointed out, go help register people to vote. We need to register enough people that Democrats can never win again. We need to enforce the Communist Control Act. We need to lock away the violent offenders and never let them out on the street again. We need to have reforms in our judicial system. We need to make sure these magistrates aren't able to be activists. We need to stop these federal judges from single-handedly overriding the president. We need to push reforms and changes that get us back to the country we deserve. But most of all, just look after each other, check in with each other, keep each other safe, and just keep your head on a swivel, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you all. Thank you, everybody in the audience and in the chat. I will probably not put these memes into a thread like I did the ones from Monday, but I will continue to do that going forward. Crispy, thank you. Shell, thank you. Gardner, thank you. Lisa, thank you. Chatban and everyone else from the village. You all have been great. Apparently, Shell forgot how to type. Love you, bye. See you all Friday night. Yeah, it's fine, Shell. Don't worry about it. But guys, take care of each other. And make sure that you keep yourselves, your family, and your friends safe. I love you guys. I will see you on Friday. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Love you. Bye.